Namaste. I'm Angela, and today we're going to be breaking down a few balancing postures. We're going to start with a simple balancing posture that many of us are familiar with, a balancing posture called tree pose. So we'll come to standing. And some things that we always want to think about when we are practicing our balancing postures are first finding the foundations, finding our root and getting grounded in whichever leg or part of the body is connected to the earth. And we also want to concentrate on our drishti, which is our steady gazing point. And this means finding a focal point and shifting our awareness entirely to that focal point. And that is always going to aid us in maintaining our balance while practicing some balancing postures. So our first balancing posture, again, tree pose or vrikshasana. So we want to find our mountain pose, spreading through all four corners of the feet, lifting through the toes, maybe placing each of the toes down to the earth, lifting through the arches of the feet, firing up that midline of our body. We're going to keep that mountain pose in our right leg as we bend our left knee forward. There's an external rotation of the left hip, so the left knee opens out towards the left side. There's always an option here of sliding the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right ankle and utilizing the left toes as a bit of a kickstand. And this is a great way to first start practicing our tree pose. As we find ourselves steady and stable there, we can start to move the sole of the left foot to the inside of that right leg, either above or below the knee. So we want to make sure that we're not putting any undue lateral pressure at the knee joint. So the sole of the left foot can slide again to the lower or upper right leg. We want to create a little bit of dynamic tension. So we want to press the sole of the right foot down to the ground and lift through the energy of that right leg. And we also want to press the sole of the left foot into the right thigh or right leg, and the right leg into the sole of the left foot. And that's going to allow us to lift a little bit more into the integrity of this posture. Again, the tailbone descends down, the sternum lifts, our hands can come to prayer at the center of our heart. And we can always pause here, maybe drawing the inner edges of the shoulder blades onto the upper back, keeping that gaze steady, keeping the breath steady. And then if it feels right for you, there's so many different variations here with the arms, growing our branches. We can come through a twist. We can come through a side body bend, maybe in each direction. We can also bring our hands behind us and maybe bring our hands into a gesture or a mudra that is unique to us and our own energy. We can also shift our drishti, so shift our steady gazing point, maybe even shifting our gaze upward. And that makes that challenge, that balance, a little more challenging. And then when we're ready to release, we mindfully release the bind of that leg. We land it down, and we can give ourselves a little bit of time to shake that out. Always making sure that we do these balancing postures on both sides of the body as well. So the next posture that we're going to practice, the next balancing posture, is called half moon. So I'm going to suggest that we have a block or something similar to a block close by. And this is a great posture for us to incorporate into our flowing sequences as it connects really nicely with our warrior two, our extended side angle, and or the triangle posture, which are very common postures throughout our vinyasas. I'm going to place the block over towards the side of my mat here. I'm going to step the left toes towards just behind that block, and the right leg is going to step back, finding myself first in warrior two position. So I'm bending into the left knee as I reach the arms out to the sides. The gaze, the drishti, is extending beyond the left fingertips. All right, for our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, I'll bring my right hand to my right hip, and the left fingertips are going to come forward of that left foot, either to the earth or towards the block. Remember, this is able to be shifted, so the fingers can come forward or back as needed once we bring ourselves into the posture. I like to step the back foot in towards that front foot, then adjust the block a little bit, and then step all of the weight into that front foot, pressing the front hand or fingertips down to the earth or towards the block. as the back leg extends behind us. We want to energetically extend through the sole of the lifted leg and through the crown of the head. We want to continue to create space here from the left hip all the way to the left shoulder. We can stay right here, maybe spiraling the toes of the right foot, the navel and the gaze open in the same direction. And then if it feels right for us, we can expand the right fingertips up towards the sky. And this is our half moon, our Ardha Chandrasana. Remember, there's always ways to play with this posture as well. A very common way to play with this posture is bringing ourselves into the heart opener, which is called sugarcane pose or Chapasana, by bending the top leg, grabbing hold of the top foot, and then bringing that quality of heart opening into the posture. And then we always reverse this out slowly so we can extend back into our half moon. We can soften that front knee, let the back foot land, and maybe bring ourselves back into a warrior two. Then we can straighten out the front leg. And remember, you can bounce this out, always making sure that you give yourself the opportunity to practice the posture on both sides for an equal amount of time or somewhat equal amount of time. We'll practice one more posture here. So we'll practice what's called Natarajasana, or dancer pose. And dancer pose is a posture that also incorporates heart opening and balancing in communion or conjunction with one another. So this time we're going to find mountain on our right side. So root through the sole of that right foot, spread through the toes, find that center, find that left. Then once we find the left, we'll send the left heel towards the left sit bone. The left hand will come back to connect with the left foot. And you can either grab hold of that left foot from the outside of the ankle or from the inside of the ankle. And it's nice for us to switch between those two things and get those different actions assimilated into our practice. Again, we want to find our mountain, so root through the grounded foot, lengthen tall. We can see about reaching our right arm up towards the sky. And for some of us, we might like to stay right here. You can also utilize a wall for a little additional support. A deep inhalation here. And then as we exhale, we can start to extend our torso forward, out over the front leg, as we kick the back foot into the back hand or back ankle. Again, focus our gaze, focus our drishti, steady breath, steady pose. And then to lift ourselves out of the posture, we bring ourselves back into this standing form, match the knees, square the hips and pelvis, and then we can release the bound leg down as we release the posture. Again, always giving ourselves the opportunity to practice the opposite side with the same amount of length and hold as we practice the first side. I'm going to show one more standing posture here, and this is a posture called Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, or extended hand to foot and digit pose. This is a posture that is an incredibly challenging standing posture. You might like to use a strap for this one. And this is a posture that's going to work into balance as well as flexibility, strength, and extension. So it's a posture that really combines a lot of different qualities and actions of asana into one specific pose. So we're going to spread through the toes of our right foot here, engage the sole of our right foot with the earth, and then draw our left knee in towards the chest. This is a standing pose here as well called standing apanasana, or wind-releasing posture, knee of chest. And we can stay right here. This might be our edge today. Or we can utilize a strap or our peace fingers to bring them around either the big toe of the lifted leg or the ball mound of the foot if we're using a strap. Remember, we can stay right here. Think drishti, think breath. And as it feels right for us, maybe extending that left leg forward. Again, same drishti, same breath. Remember, you can stay here. This might be the extent of your posture, or if it feels right for you, maybe opening the lifted leg out towards the side. We can always utilize the opposite arm to serve as a bit of a counterbalance here. And then we can bring that leg back through center, retrace our steps, hugging that knee in, and then releasing that foot to meet the opposite foot. So those are a few of our standing balances in our yoga practice. There's a variety of different ways to modify these postures, making them more accessible and also making them more challenging. So a lot of fun to play with. And again, you can really find the qualities and actions of all the postures fitting into this family of balancing postures. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. Namaste.